So we've put together sort of a running list of 10 tips, quote unquote, for a successful collaboration. And these are sort of maybe guiding principles that we sort of live by and gut check everything we do by. And I think it's really important anytime you're trying to work together and not have conflict and help each other and support and grow. So we're going to share those with you.
And if these don't work, it's not our fault. This is actually the first time that, when people come to me to ask for advice, I usually say, well, I can tell you how not to do it, So that, take everything with, this may not be the exact way that it works for everyone. This is how we've found our way, so.
Alex, do you want to start off with
I want to do the third one.
the third one? All right, I'll start off with the first one. I think trust is just really important. Whoever you choose to work with, whether you're in the agency setting or you're doing something like this, if you don't trust the people you're working with, you're not going to collaborate successfully. Like Chad said, if he needs to go somewhere, if he's got a show somewhere else, if there's stuff to do at the studio, he's got innate trust in the 6 remaining people to execute and make it happen up to your standards and everyone else's standards.
Right, and not only trust that someone will get something done, but also trust that if these people can't get it done, they're going to bring it to me and say they can't immediately, so we can figure out another way to get it done. Yeah, that's what I'm like.
I get it. So we have meetings. We meet. We try to meet once every 2 weeks. Once to work together, the other time to just meet.
We have family meetings too. Another good extension of the work.
Yeah, we have lists. We go. Everyone kind of brings up what they're working on, what's going on. Keep everyone, in touch with each other. And we go down everything, and we set goals. We assign tasks to specific people, and we don't like meetings, but by nothing's going to happen unless you get out there, you talk about it, and you say we need to do this by then. And in our case, assigning it to somebody to follow through.
Alex, this is 3.
Number 3, go with the flow. Magic happens when you least expect it, in places where you aren't looking. You have to work to find a fine balance between setting a plan and letting a plan unfold naturally. On top of that, be nimble. If something unexpected happens, be able to shift gears and follow a new lead. So,
Right from the start.
yeah.
All right, who wants this one?
I could speak towards this one. So, one thing that we've really, that's been a huge benefit to us is we're talking about these networks and we're talking about different people doing different things in the city. We try to take an approach overall of we're an entirely open book. Like our information is everyone's information. And some other experiences, and maybe I think all of us have kind of seen this as, for example, I went to New York a couple months ago, and it's not an open book. Everyone is doing their thing, and the extent of work conversation, and I mean, this is obviously a stereotype, but it's, how's work going for you? Good. How's work for you? Good. End of discussion on work. And something I've really enjoyed about Chicago is that everyone is so excited about sharing their knowledge with everyone else, and that's something that I think a lot of people really take for granted. It's not something that's normal practice within a lot of curated communities. So don't hoard your information. Be able to help anyone if you can, and then more than likely someone, when you need the help, will be able to give you that same advice that you were giving out to start with. So.
It seems pretty obvious, don't burn bridges, but Chicago's a large city, but it's, when you get into the communities of art and design, it becomes very, very small. And it's amazing how many times I'll run into somebody who works with somebody who knows somebody else, and it's a very small circle, and you're not helping yourself by pissing somebody off or doing something stupid. So, if you don't like somebody, keep it to yourself, because that person someday might be the hiring person, in a job that you're going for, or somebody who's looking to be in your gallery or something like that. So, it's a pretty obvious point in there.
Don't wait. I think this speaks a lot to going with the flow as well. Just that in your mind, when you have an objective in mind, sometimes you have these steps that need to happen before you actually get to the next step. So really, you should just kind of like take all those steps, smush them together into like one loose goal. If it doesn't work out exactly how you wished it would, it's still okay, but just don't wait for those other things to happen. Jump to the next step if you have to.
If you have an idea like this, do it. Just try. Just go. Start.
Because on paper, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
It really does.
and even if it did start to make sense, it's wrong. You're not just do it. That's why this whole thing happened, is because we were just like, we're doing it.
Yeah, and Sam has, and another good thing that Sam, and I've kind of picked up from Sam, is when people ask us how we do all of these things, a very easy thing is to change the way you talk about it. And it's not, oh, I'm thinking about doing this thing, or I want to do this thing. It's changing your verbiage to, I'm doing this. Even if you haven't started anything specifically, if you start telling people that you are doing something rather than saying you're going to do something, it seems like a really small thing, but it's been a great thing for me after I heard Sam say it, that I really use to get a lot of things done that I do get done.
Don't become complacent. I think there was a point in time where we got to the point that we thought we'd get to. And honestly, there was a little bit of that was about 6 months in. We had the equipment, we had the space, we could go, hang out, do whatever we wanted to do. But it's been only more beneficial and more fun to keep going and keep charging at it. And just, it's just because you reach a plateau, you can always take it to the next level. You can always discover new things about yourself, uncover things you never thought you'd be able to, And, it's just, don't stop once you get to that imaginary fictional plane. You might think you want to, get to it.
I mean, nothing's out of reach, really. If you're able to keep this, not keeping your knowledge to yourself and having this great network, make goals that may seem a little bit out of reach. There's no reason not to. Nothing is completely out of reach. We have one of the smallest big cities in the world, in my opinion. Everybody knows somebody through only a couple of degrees of separation. So nothing is out of reach, really, in my opinion.
Well, let's stop.
We're going to try to let them speak themselves.
This says get cocky in our notes.
Don't get cocky.
I think there's a point in time where we look back, we took a look back. Someone interviewed us recently, and we looked back at everything we had done, and it was overwhelming to, I hope, everyone here. And, as I hope you guys understand from what we've been saying loosely tonight, is we wouldn't have been able to do this without everyone that's come to the shows. Everyone in this extended network that's put work in the shows, helped us out, taught us, promoted us, talked about us, invited us here. All of that, it's all because of the entire network. So there's no reason at any point to sort of get full of yourself and say, yeah, I did this on my own, or even just as a group of 7, and to hell with all of you guys. It's just, there's no reason to do that. And again, if you do that, you're going to burn bridges and you're going to stagnate and not keep going.
We argue all the time. We do. 7 people, 7 designers, 7 really serious point of views. By fighting and pushing each other, we've pushed each other. And that's okay. I mean, we trust each other, we love each other, it takes a lot to hurt our feelings. So we trust that, that we're going to push each other, and that at the end of the day, we're all going to be able to have a beer and have fun. So there has to be a trust, but don't get in fights, push people. Tell them how you feel, make them think.